up by the leader of the House.
Respected colleagues, the question now that those that the bill will be read the third time. Those in favor say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to read long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act number 2, 2019, to extend the tenure of the Resolution Cost Fund, grant access to the special tribunal established by the BOFIA 2020, and confer on it the powers to take possession, manage, foreclose, or sell, transfer, assign, or otherwise of assets or property used as security for eligible bank assets and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and pass. Respected colleagues, the second order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005 to provide the legal and institutional framework for the implementation and coordination of rural electrification projects, establishment of the National Power Training Institute, the regulatory provisions to strengthen the sector for effective service delivery and for related matters, standing in the Honorable Magaji Da'u Aliu and 50 others. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 14th July 2021, and now invite Honorable Aliu to move that the bill be read the second time.
Honorable Namobi, step back. Honorable Namobi. Okay,
Take it. Since the rule has been broken.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Magaji Da'u Aliu, member representing Bruno Kudu-Boji Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State, and by the leave of the Speaker, I chair the House Committee on Power. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I hereby present a bill for an act to amend the Electric Sector Power Reform Act 2005 to provide for the legal and institutional framework for implementation and coordination of rural electrification projects, establishment of National Power Training Institute, provision to strengthen sector for efficiency and service delivery and related matters, HB 1520 for second reading.
Seconder. Yes, Honorable.
Much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Jim Abdurrahim Olajide. I represent Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. I stand to second the motion as moved by the chairman of the Power, Honorable Magaji. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Da'u, lead the debate.
Year 2005. That's 16 years without any amendment. Due to the exigency and need to prosper efficiency, in this power sector we have been having so much a problem. We propose to amend the Principal Act for the first time in 16 years. The bill, the content details of the bill is we intend to amend 36 clauses of the Principal Acts. The first clause, which is clause 1, amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005, which is called the Principal Act. The second clause, amend Section 8 of the Principal Act to include companies limited by guarantee, information of successor companies under Section 1 of the Act. Clause 3, amend Section 10, subsection 4 by deleting the proviso. Clause 4, amend Section 24 by inserting a new subsection 2A, which requests stakeholders' input in the Commission reports to the Minister on prospects of Nigerian electricity supply industry in privatization era. Clause 5 insert a new provision 24A, which lists agencies under jurisdiction of Federal Ministry of responsible Ministry of Power. Clause 6, amend Section 26 of the Principal Acts, which make Nigerian electricity supply industry more competitive in the post-privatization era. Clause 7, amend Section 27 by substituting the minister for the commission in determining the eligible customer. Section 8, amend Section 32 to enhance the functions of the commission. Clause 9, amend Section 33 with respect of powers of the minister to issue general policy directions. Clause 10, amend Section 34 to increase the criteria of selecting potential nominees for appointment as commissioners by the President. Clause 11, amend Section 37, which deals with circumstances under which a commissioner vacates an office. Clause 12, amend Section 43, which compels commissioners to disclose certain connection and interests that they may bring into conflict of interest with their official positions. Clause 13, amend Section 44 to insert provision that gives effect to the ground under which the decision of the Commission may not be invalidated. Clause 14, amend Section 49 to empower a High Court to decide a matter between the Commission and any person affected by such decision. Clause 15, amend Section 50 to replace the Commission with Federal High Court or any independent body set up under this Act to hear a matter of appeal rising from decision of the Commission not to issue license. Commission 16 amends Section 657 to increase the penalty from 20,000 to 500,000 against any commissioner, agent, or employee of the Commission that failure to comply with the audit request, producing the documents or records of accounts. Clause 17 deletes Section 16 on the grounds of total exemption of Commission from liability. Section 8 amends Section 67. Clause 19 extension to 18. Clause 20 amends Section 68. Clause 22 substitutes Section 74 for a new Section 74 dealing with cancellation of license. Clause 23 substitutes Section 75 for a new Section 75 dealing with enforcement of license. Clause 24 substitutes Section 76. Clause 25 amends Section 77. Clause 26 deletes Section 78. Clause 27 amends Section 79. Clause 28 is further amended by inserting a new clause 79A. Clause 29 amends Section 80 to expand the scope of consumer protection standard. Clause 30 substitutes the existing Part 9 for a new Part 9 which establishes rural electricity and renewable energy agency. Clause 31 inserts Part 9A which makes provision for the establishment of National Power Training Institute. Clause 32 inserts a new clause 94A after existing Section 94 to provide stiffer penalties for crimes committed against electrical infrastructure. Clause 34 amends Section 97 to expand the scope which a commissioner or employee of the Commission can be held liable for disclosure of confidential information and the use of information to require a personal gain. Clause 35 deletes Section 89, Section 1 of the Principal Act on the ground that it is transitory provision which is no longer relevant to enhancement of relevant law, including NEMSA Act. Clause 6 provides the citation for the bill. I shall submit.
Colleagues, I thought this is a very comprehensive presentation. And having lost so much of our time, maybe I will appeal to you so that we just put the question. And we'll progress. The question are those that in favor that the bill will rest content say aye. Aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to the long title of the bill.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005 to provide the legal and institutional framework for the implementation and coordination of rural electrification projects, establishment of the National Power Training Institute, and regulatory provisions to strengthen the sector for efficient service delivery, and for related matters. Second reading.
Refer to Committee on Power. It's power. Respected colleagues, the third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Act 2007 and enact the Road Fund and Management Authority Bill former and for related matters standing there Honorable Mansour Manusoro. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 24th March 2021, and now invite Honorable Soro to move that the bill be read second time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Representative Mansour Manu Soro, representing the good people of Daughters of Ganjua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Bauchi State. I rise this morning to move that a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Act 2007, and to enact a Road Fund Management Authority Bill, and to enact a Road Fund Management Authority Bill and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Wait a minute. The secondment, Honorable Mansour, please approach the chair. That's what I'm. Rules. Please.
Mr. Speaker, item number 3 is a mistake. I move that it was mistakenly listed. I move that it should be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Please better mention the expert of Mr. so the members will be clear. Thank you. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Nigerian Protocol Council and for related matters standing now of Honorable Danduse Butari. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 22nd April 2021. Now I invite Honorable Butari to move that the bill be read second time. It's not stepping down. Already we have a bill that has been already moved. So we're not stepping down for any. Thank you. Yes, sir. Seconda? Yes, sir. No, he has moved.
Abiante. I represent Andoni Opobo Nkoro Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion that the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Pesticides Council be read the second time as so moved. Thank you.
Then this is a little debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. The importance of the pesticide bill in a developing country like Nigeria, which is the giant of Africa and whose great comparative advantage lies in agriculture, cannot be overemphasized for the following reasons. Plant protection products known as pesticide are technical and harmful products and therefore required stringent measures in their purchase, use, and application, and even who sell and handle them. And the pesticide bill will address it. Pesticide and disease cause collateral damage to crop yields and quality, and therefore require quality and environmental friendly product to control them, to avoid losses of between 50 to 80% of the product. The pesticide bill will address product quality and efficacy. There is a rampant adulteration and packing of plant protection products, otherwise known as pesticide, because of the absence of the pesticide bill, causing collateral damage to crops, soil, and economy to millions of farmers in Nigeria, among others. The bill, when passed, will empower the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to have a data bank of approved pesticide, existing manufacturers and importers, and also a compendium of agro dealers handling the product nationwide. The bill will be a catalyst for promoting food security in the country, because most of the cancer and diabetic and kidney related diseases we have is because of the adulterated products we have. If passed, the bill will promote Nigerian image and standing number 3 in the international community by promoting international trade in agriculture, because most of the products of Nigeria are being rejected by most of the countries in the world because of this pesticide, lack of this pesticide bill. It will enhance the earning of foreign exchange for Nigeria through international agricultural trade. If the bill passes, it will be a major internally generated revenue earner through payment for registration of product, testing into the Federation account through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I urge you to support that the bill be read for the second time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my respected colleagues.
Alan Guru.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Lawan Shetima Ali, representing the good people of Bursari, Gaidam Unusari Federal Constituency. I'm from Rivesesa. I raised to second the motion ably moved by my senior colleagues, sir. I saw second, my neighbor.
Point of order. Okay? Yeah, point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Ben Roland Sigapa. I represent Ethiopia East and West. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is Order 12, Rule 1, Sub 3. On the introduction of a bill, a compendium of background information shall be delivered to all members. Mr. Speaker, this bill that our brother just brought, it's a very serious one, and I expect everybody, I don't have a copy, I expect it to be properly delivered to everybody. That's not.
My brother, please, at least can see from the reaction of members.
Yes, there are some people who
they
have
are
it,
telling
but
you
I don't have it.
Where's my own?
Wait, okay. Mr. Speaker, he brought one and he gave it to him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, rule out of order.
Oh, it's okay.
Yes, Osai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I want to first of all thank Honorable Mutari for bringing this bill. It's a bill that will create all the enabling environment and create a good image of product called Product Nigeria when going outside the country. Mr. Speaker, pesticide, as is seen, is not only to use to kill weeds and some other things that grows with our crops, but because pesticide can affect the ground upon which the soil upon which we use. Now the soil which we use.
Is it pesticide or herbicide?
Pesticide, I'm talking about.
No, you're talking about herbicide.
Okay, we're talking about pesticide, which is the things that affects our crops. Insects that affect our crops. Now, Mr. Speaker, even insects, you want to control those key areas, it also affects our soils in the process. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, controlling it and having a council to control and regulate it will enhance a better yield of crops for our country. It will enhance a better product packaging because you will now have a good product that are going to sell to the outside country. Today, Mr. Speaker, most of our crops are rejected in the international scene because probably it is not well, the pesticide use are not well used in the process of cultivation of these crops. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I believe that this bill is in order and that we should support it with all the energies we have to propel it as a summit.
Doctor.
Not bad.
Your request again.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, I remain Honorable Haruna Michelia. I speak for the people of Askra Overhaul Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this bill and to say that, in fact, on medical grounds, without proper control, a lot of these pesticides are very hazardous to human health. But with this council in place, I am sure proper regulations will be in place, awareness will be in place, proper use will be in place so that the health of the citizenry are also protected. I so support this bill that it should be passed. Thank you.
I thought doctor have captured everything. Thank you. I now put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read second time, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to the long title for the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Nigeria Pesticide Council and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Agricultural Products and Services. Respected colleagues, one of our colleagues have a matter of urgent public importance which was approved for him yesterday for consultation today. And unfortunately, when I was calling for that consideration, I don't know, we were not connecting properly. So please rise to move for the suspension of our rules to enable you to take the motion now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my very distinguished colleagues. My name is Uche Namobi. I represent the good people of Ahoda West and Oba Ibemendoni Federal Constituency from River State. I come under Order 8, Rule 4, 8, Rule 7, that this motion to curb the oil leakage of pipelines and gas, that the House do suspend the rules of the House and that the matter is urgent and definite. I so move.
Seconder. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimle Federal Constituency. I'm proudly from Delta State. Proud to come from Delta State. One of the best
probably.
Proud to come from Delta State. Don't mind honorary.
Where were you born?
I was born in Jos, but I'm proud to come from Delta State.
To doubt as to whether you are from Delta State.
Exactly, and I have every reason to choose to take both. Jos, Plateau State, and Delta State. I rise to second the motion that will do suspend our relevant provision to enable, given that we had crossed matter of urgent national.
Suspending is the order of procedure of arrangement of the House, which allows us to have taken, or should have taken
matter
that before
exactly.
now. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Honorable, go ahead and take your motion. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against, say nay. That's have it.
Thank you again, Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues. My motion is on the urgent need to curb the oil and pipeline and gas leakages in the Niger Delta region, especially as the case that was in the College of Education Technical Amok in Oba Ibemendoni local government area of River State. The House notes that the oil and gas industry is one of the major hubs of economic activities in the country, accounting for a high percentage of Nigerian export since independence. Oil pipelines constitute crucial means of transporting crude oil in Nigeria, therefore strategically important to the Nigerian oil production. With the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, a substantial percentage of the pipelines are owned by international oil companies, including Nigeria Ajib Oil Company. The House informed that the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company owns pipelines passing through the Federal College of Education Technical Omok. The institution has been facing severe environmental pollution arising from leakages of the oil pipelines and the gas as well in the premises of the school, causing tension and danger to students and citizens alike. The leakages are a combination of failure of equipment and the handiwork of vandals. The house worried that the crude oil and gas has been leaking consistently in the school premises and other farmlands around the area recently without immediate action to address the leakages. Academic activities are almost paralyzed due to spillage and the pipelines owned by Nigerian Ajib Oil Company. The attention of the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company has been drawn to this environmental disaster, but the company's reaction has been slow and lethargic, while the lives of students and the entire communities around the institution are in grave danger. The House is concerned that the failure to urgently address this disaster, the lives of students and staff of this institution, and the people in my constituency will be in grave danger. This has happened severally and it's continuing to happen. The danger of this leakage of crude from these pipelines could potentially destroy the institution if fire from the leakages ignites the school premises. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, the House accordingly resolves to call on the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company to immediately ensure stoppage of the dangerous trend so as not to endanger the lives and property of students, peoples, and academic activities of the federal government, Federal College of Education, and I beg your pardon, Technical Omok. To call on Nigerian Ajib Oil Company to investigate and unravel the immediate and remote causes of the leakage to avert future occurrences of the release of hazardous substances to the environment. And lastly, to call on the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSTRA, to immediately visit the affected area and liaise with Nigerian Ajib Oil Company to stop the flow from those pipelines to enable immediate repairs. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, dear colleagues.
Honorable Commodore Oga. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga, representing Ikwo-Ezasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion able moved by my honorable colleagues from Rivers State. I hereby second.
Colleagues, I believe this is a very straightforward motion, so I will now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The fifth order of the day is a motion on the committal of bills standing now on a worker flatter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata and President Berniwa, Krika Sama, Uni Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the committal of bills. Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency Establishment Bill 2021, House Bill 60. National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons Bill 2021, HB 171. Environmental Health Officers Registration, etc. Act 2002, Amendment Bill 2021, HB 44. Federal University of Agriculture, Jalingo Establishment Bill 2021, HB 750. Nigerian Institute of Agricultural Bills 2021, HB 104. Counseling Practitioners Council of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2001, HB 409. House notes that the bills above were respectfully passed by the House of Representatives, concurred by the Senate, and transmitted to Mr. President for assent, but assent was withheld. Aware that some issues that needed to be addressed were observed in the bills, hence the need for this recommittal. Resolves to commit the bills to Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Conda. Yes.
representing East Assembly Referral Constituency. I sent on the motion moved by Honorable Platter. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the sixth order of the day is a motion on the reconsideration of outstanding bills from the Presiding Assembly, standing now Honorable Abubakar Hassan Flatta. Honorable Flatta is invited to make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Flatta. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Buri Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, reconsideration of outstanding bills from the Presiding Assembly pursuant to Orders 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. Obafemi Awolowo University Transitional Provision Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 922, University of Ibadan Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 923, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 924, Osman Danfodio University Sokoto Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 925, University of Maiduguri Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 926, and Federal College of Education Technical Agoro Bayelsa State Amendment Bill 2020 HB 1649. House notes that pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, bills passed by the Presiding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made or negatived, or passed by the Senate and forwarded to the House, for which no concurrence was made or negative, or which were passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the Assembly, the House may resolve that such bills, upon being regazetted or clean copies circulated, be reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole without being commenced de novo. Also note that the aforementioned bills were passed by the Presiding Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the last Assembly. Aware that the bills were regazetted as House Bills 922, 923, 924, 925, 926, 1649, and had been respectively read the first time. House resolves to commit the bills to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dejari.
Dr. Samuel Babatunde Adejari. I represent the wonderful, good people of Agege Federal Constituency. I'm from the State of Excellence, Lagos State. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman of Rules and Business, I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion on need to construct Ogu Ayama Okodi Road in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State, standing now Honorable Fred Obua. Honorable Obua is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Fred Azibopu Obua, representing the people of Ogbia Federal Constituency. I am from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, before me is a motion for the need to construct Ogo Anyama Okodi Road in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. The House notes that Ogu Okodi Road in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State, which links Ogbia local government area to Ayakuru, Ologi, Otwedu, Anyama, Ogbia, Otagadagu, Otekbe, Okodi, Epebo, and the Madika towns, serves as an alternative route for residents of Ogbia Federal Constituency who engage predominantly in fishing rice, plantain, yam, and granite cultivation, and also harness crude oil to the nation. Also notes that the rate of infrastructural deficiency and level of road dilapidation in Bayelsa State is alarming, such that the economic activities of rural dwellers are adversely affected, usually coming to a halt during rainy season, thus leading to loss of revenues, man-hours, and destruction of perishable goods. Concerned that the dilapidated state of the road has made it to become a target for hoodlums in perpetration of their criminal activities, and has increased the rate of unproductivity, poverty, and crime, such that most residents are being displaced. Cognizant that if remedial action is not taken to reconstruct the road, the situation will continue to jeopardize economic activities and development of the communities. Resolves to urge the Niger Delta Development, NDDC, and Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to commence construction of Ogu-Okodi Road, leading to all affected towns in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. Mandate the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission to include the road in 2022 budget. Also mandate the Committees on Works and Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
My brother, I think it's an infrastructure motion, so we need to debate. But in your own prayers, there are a lot of contradictions. First, if you are asking us to ask them to commence construction, it means then it is appropriated. So appropriation should come first, then urging them to construct thereafter. And I think the prayer 3 need not to be there. So Honorable Ndudu, help us to resolve this. Thank you. Okay. It's all solely under the purview of Niger Delta. So Committee of Works I have nothing to do with it. That's why. No, he has, from the budgetary provision he's asking for, he has asked for a specific ministry, except if you're asking us to ask the Ministry of Works. We can, yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have to delete 3. Delete prayer 3.
I am Uzoma Nkime Bonta. My amendment is that for reasons of duplicity and multiplication which may amount to legislative abuse, we delete prayer 1 and replace same with considering the location of the road, that it be captured by the Niger Delta Development Commission, being most appropriate body here, considering the location, Ogbia, and looking at the length posts we have. I therefore also request that the NDC budget that has not arrived should accommodate it. Reason being that the road and the location is so important in NDC factor. I so
thank you.
And
Seconder.
3 be accordingly deleted, as Works Committee will have no relevance but legislative compliance. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Francis Ejirogane Waibe is my name, and I represent the entire people of Ughelli North, Ughelli South, and I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the amendment as proposed by my colleague. I so second. Thank you very much.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 8th order of the day is a motion on need to complete the construction of Ningi Yalagungume Fiscal Matter Road in Bauchi State, standing no Honorable Abdullahi Saad Abdul Qadir. Honorable Abdul Qadir is invited to the motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, my respected colleagues, I am Abdullahi Saad Abdul Qadir. I represent Ningi Warji, Federal Constituency of Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move a motion on the need to complete the construction of Ningi Adagungu Fuskar Mata Road in Bauchi State. The House notes that the contract for the construction of the 39 kilometers Ningi Adagungu Fuskar Mata Road in Bauchi State was awarded to Triacta Nigeria Limited on January 14, 2015, and the project, which commenced on February 17, 2015, was estimated to be completed on August 16, 2016. Cognizant that the road, when completed, will serve as a major link connecting Bauchi State to Jigawa, Plateau, Gombe, and Yobe states, and also boost economic activities in the area. Concerned that up till date, the project, which was awarded at the cost of 7.1 billion, has barely reached 50% completion. Aware that road infrastructure plays a crucial role in economic development by ensuring the efficient movement of people and goods, as well as providing accessibility to a wide variety of commercial and social activities. The House resolved to 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to expedite action on the construction of the Ningi Adagungu Fuskar Mata Road in Bauchi State and ensure its completion within a reasonable time frame. 2. Mandate the Committee on Works to determine the cause of delay in completing the construction of the road with a view to ensuring that all factors militating against its completion are resolved and the project is completed in due time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Infrastructure-related motion. But I guess Fuskar Mata is not in Bauchi State, so don't annex Plateau State. Fuskar Mata is in Plateau State. He didn't mention it, he said in Bauchi State, so we need to make the stating the records. Thank you. If you say Bauchi, I agree. But Fuskar Mata is in Plateau State. Thank you. Seconder. Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mudalawal Umar. I represent the Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. I rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Abdullahi Saad. I so second it.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on need to ascertain the number of Nigerian citizens being detained in foreign prisons. Standing no, Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Honorable Idahosa is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Dennis Idahosa. I represent the good people of Ovia Federal Constituency. I'm from Edo State. I rise to move a motion on the need to ascertain the number of Nigerian citizens being detained in foreign prisons. The House notes that Nigerian citizens are in almost all countries of the world, making exploits in sports, technology, business, education, and politics, and have been ranked as one of the highest educated immigrants in foreign countries. Also note that due to the large population of Nigerian diaspora community, the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission, DENCOM, was established to provide the engagement and participation of Nigerians in the diaspora in the development of Nigeria. The House is aware that the international convention and treaties prescribed that anyone charged with a criminal offense is entitled to a fair hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial tribunal established by law. The House is also aware that the World Bank estimated remittances of around 24.3 billion per annum as per year and 6% of the country GDP, thereby making Nigeria one of the highest ranking countries of the world in remittances inflow. Cognizant that the remittances of Nigerians living abroad have been of significant impact in development and economic growth of the country. The House also cognizant about the report of any Nigerians are languishing in foreign prison, some whom are being illegally detained, while some are exposed to labor exploitation, poor living conditions, discrimination, sex exploitation, and other forms of dehumanizing treatment. Worried that from 2019 survey reports by the Legal Defense and Assistant Project Labor, about 16,500 Nigerians who are imprisoned outside the country were convicted without illegal representation and without legal representation and not knowing why they are in jail. Believe that the federal government needs to employ diplomatic means to assist Nigerians who were wrongfully detained and have been detained in various prisons abroad. As a result, they urge the federal government to intervene and secure the releases of Nigerians who are being detained illegally in prisons abroad. And two, mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Justice, and Interparliamentary Relations to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I have one from Honorable Abenti. We'll take the one that's, then we'll get back to you. Honorable Abenti. I think we should first have the seconder first before the amendment. No, let's have the seconder. Seconder, yes, leader.
Yes, no, not Chinedu. Not Chinedu. Is it Dahosa, right? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Aniochochvili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Given that we need to know the number of Nigerians held in various prisons all over the world, I move to second this motion, moved by my colleague. I so second.
Then the amendment can come in. Yes. Do you need to discuss that? But the motion is very straightforward. I thought so. Yes, sir. Osai, listen to Abiente. Take it again. Thank you. Thank you. Seconder, Honorable Chairman, Federal Character. 。
Yeah. Right Honorable Speaker, I remain Honorable Abubakar Yahya Kusada. I represent the good people of Kankia, Kusada, and Federal Constituency from Katsina State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second as move the amendment. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The amendment that you don't want diaspora to be included. But you know that this is the work of diaspora. It's the work of diaspora by your own standard rules. So the question again, those in favor of the motion say aye, against say nay. That's a bit. It is.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing Kura, Madobiga, Ramal, and Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my amendment is on prayer number 2 before mandating Committee on Foreign Affairs, Justice, and Interparliamentary Relations to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, most of these countries we're having Nigerians residents abroad. We have the Nigerian embassy residing there, which is the eye of the nation over there. Mr. Speaker, my amendment here is it's important to include Nigerian embassies abroad because they have the detailed informations of all detainees before even going to Nigeria in diaspora. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to include also Nigerian embassy to work hand in hand with the Nigerian Diaspora Commission to ensure details of those detainees abroad. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
It is what members are telling you that for the fact that foreign affairs is there, foreign affairs work with the Nigerian embassies, and that is the main function of foreign affairs. So they are already included. Thank you. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The 10th order of the day is a motion on need to immediately commence the payment of constables recently recruited into Nigerian police, standing now Honorable Chinedu Oga. Chinedu Oga is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen, represent Ikwezasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I hereby to step this motion down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For further legislative actions, motion step down by the leader of the House. Respected colleagues, the 11th order of the day is motion on need to address leakage of classified security documents to the public, standing in no Honorable Samuel Babutunde Ajajari.
Okay. I'm from the state of excellence, Lagos State. I beg to move the motion on the need to address leakage of classified security documents to the public. The House notes the recurring incidents of leakage of classified security documents to the public through various social media platforms, online print media, and other sources, which are jeopardizing the fight against insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and other crimes in the country. The House also notes that the federal government has made concerted efforts through provision of human, material, and financial resources in the fight against insecurity. Concerned that the leakage of classified security documents and other acts of sabotage is causing failure of intelligence gathering, misunderstanding, and lack of cohesion among operatives involved in different operations against insurgency and other acts of terrorism in Nigeria. The House is disturbed that the unfortunate situation is enabling other acts of crimes and criminality such as jailbreaks, mass abductions, invasion of farms, and animal rustling. Worried that if such acts of sabotage are left unchecked, they may pose great risk to the lives of security personnel and ultimately imperil the country. The House resolves to mandate the Committee on National Security and Intelligence to carry out a detailed investigation on the matter and report back within 2 weeks for further legislative action. I so move.
Seconder. Kogis. Leader. What is happening over there?
I'm from Kogi State, representing Akpa Omala Olamboro Federal Constituency. I rise to support the motion as ably moved by my colleague and my friend. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is this? I guess this is a very straight forward motion too, so I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The 12th order of the day is a motion on need to revert to status quo policy in order to save the Naira standing now Honorable Abubakar Eleme. Honorable Eleme is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Maki Eleman. I represent Madam Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I have gone through the motion that I submitted to the Chairman Business and Rule. I found out there are some omission into it. So I decided to step it down for the next legislative day, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Motion stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues, the 13th order of the day is constitutional report on the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Council for Social Works to regulate the practice of professional social work in Nigeria and for related matters. All members recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 23rd July 2020. Honorable Osai Nicholas will move for his consideration. I guess Osai is not on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Osai.
Thank you. A bill for an act to establish Nigerian Council for Social Work to regulate the practice of professional social works in Nigeria and for related matter being moved to the Committee of the Whole House for consideration. I so move.
Conda. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Ben Roland Sibakwa. I represent Ethiopia East and West. By the special grace of God, we're from Delta States. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my brother, Honorable Nicholas Osai.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 14th order of the day is constitutional report of the Conference Committee on the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for later matters. Honorable members recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, 14th July 2021. Honorable Abubakar Folata will move for his consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika, Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for related matters, HB 527, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Johnson Nagwahidu, whom I represent Itako Federal Constituency. I'm from Edo State. I rise to second the motion for consideration of a conference report as moved by the chairman, business and rule. I so to second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 15th order of the day is consideration of the report of the Committee on Navy on a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Maritime Trust Fund for the purpose of training, provision of security equipment, and for related matters. And related facilities. Enhance the skills of the personnel of the Nigerian Navy and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, 15 September 2021, and now invite Honorable Yusuf Adamugagdi to move for his consideration.
Honorable members, I'm Yusuf Adamugagdi. I represent Panshinkanki Kanam Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move that the House do consider a report of the Committee on the Navy on a bill for an act to establish the Maritime Security Trust Fund for the purpose of training, provision of security equipment and related facilities, enhance skill of the personnel of the Nigerian Navy, and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Maki, I think I cannot escape you from that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Manamudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I stand to second the report that heavily moved by Right Honorable Yusuf Gadi. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, move that the House do resolve to the House of Committee of the House to consider the reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I'm Comrade Peter Singh. I represent the people of Akoko Federal Constituency. I am from Edo State. I move that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole to consider a report. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I second that the House do resolve your Committee of the Whole to consider report.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby resolving to Committee of the Whole to consider the report. Yes. Respected colleagues, the first bill to be considered is for an act to establish a Nigerian Council for Social Work to regulate the practice of professional work, social work in Nigeria and for related matters. And I invite Honorable Nicholas Osai to give the synopsis of the bill.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. You know virtually that this particular bill was sent to the President for assent in the 8th Assembly, which probably came back with one clause to be considered in the aspect of the funding, which was correctly done by representing it back to the floor. So I believe, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, whatever I have seen here has met.
Can you kindly refer us to the specific clause for where the correction was done?
No, it was corrected when the bill was brought in back. The clause 6, clause 6, clause 6.1. 6.1C was corrected. 6.1C was corrected.
Such money as the minister may out of.
Yes, there were certain provision that was put there, and there was not such to bring in the ministers into the provisions. So I think that's one of the issues that was corrected from the presidency, not assigning to the bill, assenting to the bill. I think that was the reason we brought it back.
Thank you. Clause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What's the...
Mr. Chairman, sir, my honorable colleagues, I remain Ajibolam Raina. I represent Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State, sir. I want to humbly call your attention to paragraph or section 15.2, which reads here, where a person who is a non-Nigeria or an expatriate satisfies the council that it should be where a person who is a non-Nigerian, not non-Nigeria. So the non should be followed by Nigerian. I so submit, sir, and I so move that it be so amended to read, sir.
Osai, you are sure that, no, I was asking whether this was not part of the issues raised by the president then. I'm asking whether this was not part of the issue raised by the president then. Thank you. Seconder to the amendment. Yes.
I am Honorable Ben Roland Tibakwa. I rise to second the amendment as ably moved by my brother. I beg to.
The amendment say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. So closer 15 as amended. Carried. (16), sorry. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 27. 'Explanatory memoranda. Schedules. Explanatory memoranda. Long title. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State. I think it's a report of conference committee. Thank you. So, Fulata move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Abubakar Samfulata. I present Brunei Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, I move that the report of the Conference Committee on Federal University of Technology be adopted by the House. So move.
Seconder. Yes. Quara.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Highly respected colleague, my name is Janika Ismail. I represent the good people of Ifelodun of our on your federal constituency. Mr. Chairman, I'm from Kwara State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my highly respected colleague. I so.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's a bit. So, respected colleagues, the third bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Nigerian Maritime Trust Fund for the purpose of training, provision of security equipment and related facilities, enhance the skills of the personnel of the Nigerian Navy and for related matters. And I invite Honorable Yusuf Gagdi to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshin Tanki Kanam. Mr. Chairman, we have debated on this bill and we know how Navy plays a significant role in the economy of the country, where presently most of the activities of the security of the waterways is in the hands of private companies called private security logistic companies. With this bill establishing a source of funding for the 6 or 8 years for Navy, it will enable them acquire platforms that will be able to fight piracy, pipeline vandalization, and what have you, so that the security of waterways will be absolutely in the hand of the Navy. So I think if this report is considered, it's going a long way in strengthening the economy of this country, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Mikey, where is the energy coming from? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, citation 30, schedules, explanatory memoranda, long title. Leader, move that we revert back to plenary to report progress.
Thank you, Chair. My distinguished colleagues, I move that the House do revert to plenary to report progress. Mr. Chair, I so move.
Seconder, Abiante.
Thank you very much, my respected chairman, my distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion that will revert back to plenary to report progress.
Are you sure?
Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. House is hereby to revert to plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report on the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Council for Social Work to regulate the practice of professional social work in Nigeria and for related matters, and approve clauses 1, 14, 15 as amended, 16 to 27, the schedules, the long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for related matters, and have adopted the Conference Committee report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Navy on a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Maritime Trust Fund for the purpose of training, provisions of security equipment, and related facilities, enhance the skill of the personnel of the Nigerian Navy, and for related matters, approve clauses 1 to 31, the schedule, the long title, the explanatory memorandum of the report. Leader, move for the adoption of the report.
Once again, I am Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Apatasin, MNI representing Akoko people. Mr. Speaker, I move that the reports be adopted. I so move.
Seconder. Yes, Abubakar.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Abubakar Yahya Kusada. I represent Kankia Kusada Enga Federal Constituency from Katsina State. I rise to second as moved by Honorable House Leader. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any, the ayes have it. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House to Tuesday next week, 11 a.m.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Apatasin, MNI, representative of the good people of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I move that this House do adjourn to 11 o'clock, Tuesday, the 28th of this month. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Whip.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Smuda Lawal Umar. I represent the Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. I rise to second the motion moved by the leader. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's habit. House is hereby adjourned to Tuesday next week, 11 a.m.